Let's solve a question. In a certain circuit, the transistor has a collector current of 10 milliampere and a base current of 40 microampere. What is the current gain of the transistor? First, I should admit that this is not a good question. A question should be self-explanatory. For example, in this question, they didn't tell us what is the mode of operation of the transistor because it depends what is the mode of operation of the transistor, because then we can see what is the current gain of the transistor, because we have learned about two types of current gains, right? For example, in common emitter mode, we have a ratio which we called as beta, and this is the ratio of current, collector current, and divided by the base current. In common emitter mode, we have a current gain formula because we are interested in the output current divided by the input current, which is now base. Another ratio which we learned is alpha, which is collector current divided by emitter current, because in this mode the transistor is operating in common base mode. If base is common, of course, then we just want to calculate the ratio of collector current divided by the input current, which is in this case emitter current. So IC over IE, which is alpha. So I assume, because in this question we are given the collector current IC and the base current IB. So I assume that the mode of operation of this transistor is common emitter mode, because here we have the ratio IC over IB and we are given these two quantities. Although it may not be correct, but because these two currents are given and we have studied that in common emitter mode, the current gain, output current IC divided by the input current IB, and this ratio will tell us how much is the current gain. So I assume it is beta. So first let me write the formula before I forget. Is I current, collector current divided by base current. Let me write the data. Collector current is given IC and it is given that it is 10 milliampere, and once again I will change it to ampere so that all the units are consistent. So it is 10 into the power of negative 3 ampere. So the base current is 40 microampere, which is equal to 40 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 6 ampere. So I have IC, I have IB, and I know about beta, that that is the current gain if the transistor, because when the transistor is in common emitter mode, we are interested in the ratio of IC over IB, because in common emitter mode the base is working like the input current and collector is of course the output current. So I will write these values. Collector current is here, it's 10 into 10 power negative 3 ampere divided by base current is 40 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 6 ampere, and my calculator tells me that this ratio is equal to 250. And don't do a mistake by writing a unit like ampere or something. There should be no unit because we are taking a ratio of same quantities, so units will be cancelled out, and this is just a dimensionless quantity 250. So what does it tell us? It tells us that for a small base current which is 40 microampere, don't take the numbers, also see the units, because if you just see the number it seems like collector current is less than the base current, but don't forget about the units. It is 40 microampere and this is 10 milliampere. It is way larger than the base current and 200, almost 250 times the base current, this value. So it means that if you have this value 40 into 10 power negative 6 ampere, and now the collector current is 250 times the base current. So here if you multiply it, you will get 10 into the 10 to the power of negative 3 ampere. So this is collector current, and this is 250 times the base current. So you see, it's a huge current gain in fact, and this is the answer.